Number 10 for me is 1971's Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Number 9, I have Trauma from 93.
Oh, I don't. That's not on my list.
That one is probably, yeah, the last post-90s one that's going to be on mine. But
Right. Okay.
has Argento and like a lot of his later movies, but this was kind of when she was pretty young still with this. But have you seen Trauma?
I have. It didn't tick any boxes for me, and I only watched it.
It is
recently.
all over the place. I'll say that. Like the plot is kind of very very convoluted, so I can definitely see like that being a reason, one reason at least, for it not being on people's like favorite Argento movies. But I love the effects
for me,
by Tom Savini. I love Piper Laurie.
Yeah, it was
the great late Piper Laurie that we just lost.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a fun one, and I feel like it's very underrated.
Yeah,
the whole killer's device of the like strangulation box is a cool ass design for like a weapon. I think Tom Savini made it up with Argento, like an actual device. So it has just a box and a wire.
You're changing my mind already.
Out. Yeah, right? It comes out, you push the button, and it strangles you, and freaking decapitates you and shit. Like, that's a great idea. But, yeah, it gets overlooked. So it came in...
again, it was one of those, maybe I need to focus more on it.
I was debating flipping it with Four Flies, like, and having Trauma at 10 and Four Flies at 9, but it kind of... I said, fuck it, let me throw Trauma up a point. But, yeah, 9, Trauma. So, number 8... is Bird with the Crystal Plumage from 1970. All right, that's my number 7, so we can talk here at Cat o' Nine Tails. So your number 8, my number 7, Cat o' Nine Tails from 71, his second movie, and this is his, in his words, he thinks this is his worst film, which always which blows my mind because I love this movie. Like pretty much, like this whole list, I love every film on this list, but like I love Cat o' Nine Tails, and just speaking of Ennio Morricone, like his score for this movie is one of my favorite scores in an Argento movie. Like it is such a great score. I love the characters, the blind character, what's in Cookie, and the girl that he's with, what is his niece or something like that.
Tom Alden.
Great characters, and the whole story is, I mean, I could see because like it's kind of out there what they break into like a biotech lab, the murderer, and kill somebody, and then they have to figure this murder out. Like, and then like they try to involve like some like that biotech science, like genetic shit, like into the story a bit. I could see that throwing people off a little bit and like being kind of like, I don't know, awful, like out of left field. But I absolutely love that movie, Cat o' Nine Tails. When you were talking about how it's always like the one American actor that's like in these movies, you have like John Saxon in Tenebrae, who's so good in that movie, which I'm sure that's higher up for both of us.
How many amazing films has he just wandered into, you know?
I know, right? Yeah.
Like Black Christmas, and
he's in so many classics that he just has some supporting role in, and like he always kills it. Great stuff by him always.
Underappreciated. I think, John Saxon.
Yeah, no, he's great. So yeah, Cat o' Nine Tails, that was your number 8. That's my number 7. So number 6 for me is Phenomena from 85. So you mentioned Phenomena earlier, right?
That was my number 10. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Phenomena.
Jennifer Connelly's just literally just learning how to act in this stage of her career.
I've always loved her, and just seeing her in like in that role, and like her, like I think it was like her second film role, like her first starring or something like that, and like just seeing her starting off, like her.
It's really interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting to see that. But yeah, what do you think? Do you obviously you think you like it better than I do? So what is it that you like about it?
I love Phenomena. I like just Donald Pleasance playing being his wacky self as always, playing this entomologist, and his whole relationship with Jennifer Connelly's character. I love their whole relationship. I love the chimp.
If she is, I'm shocked. I remember.
You got a chimp there. I mean, that's something you don't get every day in a movie.
Yeah, I didn't even mention the chimp. Yeah.
Who comes to save the day. And one, Daria Nicolodi, which I think is the first we brought up her name. She's just excellent. I love her so much as just like a person, as an actress, and she heavily played a big role in why Suspiria was as good as it was, co-writing it with Dario Argento. But she plays such a crazy villain, and she nails that performance, in my opinion, at the end of that movie in Phenomena.
Like, she's probably like the Deborah Hill of Argento films, you know, in the sense of people sometimes undersell how important she was. If you go back and watch Halloween and how the female characters are written and how they speak and how authentic it is.
Oh, that's old Deborah.
Yeah, and the same goes, you know, thinking about Suspiria. It's a group of girls in a like dance school essentially, isn't it? And you know, ballet school, and it feels authentic as well.
She was very heavy into like folklore and fairy tales, and that's why Suspiria has such a fairy tale-esque feel to it.
Oh, cool. And that works really well with ballet because you've got that kind of, you know, almost like Sugar Plum Fairy and all the kind of fairy tale kind of elements to ballet. So that's fascinating. I didn't really realize that until you said that, but it explains a lot. And like you say, I totally forgotten about the chimp and I don't know how I forgot. I know that he didn't get along, or he wasn't particularly nice to Jennifer Connelly. The other thing I remember about it is that Argento wanted her actor father to be, or her absent actor father to be Al Pacino, and and he was just like, I don't really want to have my name just attached to being this father who sends his kid off to I just think that's so funny.
That's there's a lot of fun little tidbits behind the scenes of
I like that though. I like that idea. You know, it's a bit like sometimes like
daughter there.
Yeah, it's like what's the film with they go in being John Malkovich kind of thinking, you know?
Yeah.
It's like...
That's a great movie actually.
Yeah, it is. Or Nicolas Cage playing himself.
Yeah. So I mean, he's always nuts, Nicolas Cage. Like sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. It depends on the performance. But all right, so my number 6, great movie, so Phenomena. So my number 5 is Inferno.
Ooh, okay.
I love Inferno. I love the music and the score by Keith Emerson. I'm a huge progressive rock fan, like Genesis, Yes, Rush, all of them, ELP. So just knowing and having Keith Emerson do the score is something I love about this movie. Like when you brought it up earlier, the neon colors compared to like Suspiria's dark red and the greens and stuff. Here you get more of like a lighter palette with the pinks and the blue and stuff like that that's used to a great extent throughout it. The kills are great in this. The effects look great. Yeah, I love this whole movie. Love Inferno.
Yeah, this is it. I think you get rid of the cat trauma and maybe I put it higher.
Yeah. All right, we'll take that out. And that is a weird scene. And there's always weird scenes in Argento movies, I feel like. True. That. And he does get it.
If I was a human being, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Human being in a bag, being poked, and
then he does end up getting it. He ends up getting eaten by rats after he gets killed. Yeah.
Hey, that's why it's still on my list of 10. You know,
yeah, right.
Just get rid of it altogether.
It's like cat trauma, get out of here. Awful.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here with your cat trauma.
So number 5, Inferno. 4 for me is Suspiria. Number 3 for me is Tenebrae. It's top 2 especially go in and out, but my number 2 is Deep Red.
Ooh, okay.
Deep Red is like in my top 10 films of all time. I just love everything about this movie. I love Mark and his whole character. Like that's probably my favorite character in an Argento movie. like main character.
Oh, cool.
I just love his sarcasm, his wit, like everything about how that character was played is so good.
Yeah, he is. He does exactly what we were saying that Brandon, Michael Brandon didn't do in Four Flies on Grey Velvet, because David Hemmings is very a magnetic presence in the film.
And just the way his dynamic, and his dynamic with both Carlo and with Dario Nicolodi, it's fantastic in that movie. And like there's like the arm,
some of the funny stuff.
Like when they arm wrestle and
some of the stuff with the mother as well is quite funny. She's getting his job mixed up and
and the opening like scene with the psychic at the theater looks fantastic. Like that whole scene is awesome. When her kill looks awesome with the hatchet going into her and being pulled out, and then that shot that you get like when he sees the murder going on and he hears the scream, he looks up and you see her like up against the window and then gets smashed through the glass. All of that is just fantastic. And probably one of my favorite things about this movie. I mean, the score, obviously, with Goblin is fantastic, but like you see the killer right at the beginning of the movie, like when Mark goes into the apartment after he hears and sees that she was murdered, and that's a very, very brilliant thing that Argento did there, because Mark mentions it right after that, like to the police, like, did you guys move anything? Like, he feels like something was changed from just a few minutes ago before the cops got there. And then at the end, when you find out that, like, he's thinking it's a painting that was there and it wasn't there anymore. And then when he finally realizes that it was a person and it was a mirror reflecting the person's image, that's such a great twist. I think that's the way he does that and handles that and it's very risky too, because like it's shown so quickly in the beginning of the film. Like when he walks down the hall, you see, if like once you know to look for it, you see right in the reflection, you see the mom's face. And like for him to, so like for your first time watching the movie itself, I don't think many people pick up on it. I know I didn't.
No, do you know what? I think I could probably move it from 7 to 5.
It keeps like the dialogue scenes and stuff between the action scenes and the murder scenes and stuff. It keeps your interest a lot more than
it's like a screwball comedy kind of thing.
Yeah, like and like we were saying, compared to like in Four Flies, like it keeps their dynamic and stuff that keeps your interest a lot.
I'm changing my list. I'm gonna throw my list away now.
There you go. Get rid of that shit. But yeah, Deep Red is in the top. It's in my top 10 films. So it's just that as important as Suspiria, that the score is to Suspiria, the score in Deep Red is just as important to the movie too. Like the whole kid singing la 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 la, all that, and then just the Goblin score, and then like throughout it there's different sections that repeat. Like all of it is used just to like perfection. Like
critically people love it, don't they, as well? Like I think it is seen as if the best, if not one of his best across the board. For sure. A film that's quite one of his longest films, I think, as well.
So yeah, Deep Red, my number 2. My number 1, which like I said, you could switch this with Deep Red any other day, is Opera from '87.
Oh wow!
Cool.
I love opera.
I adore opera. I love opera so much. The kills are fantastic in this. The whole idea and premise to this is brilliant, of just forcing this young woman, Betty, to watch this guy kill people all around her by putting needles under her eyes and stuff so she can't blink. All of that is just fantastic. Like just the warped mind that came up with that. There's so many great shots of just the close-ups of the eyes with the pins and stuff, and like point of view shots like of her eyes, and then you see the needles in front of the camera. Like all great camera tricks and stuff. The kill with when Dario Nicolodi's character gets killed through the peephole with the gun.
Yeah.
That's just perfection. Like the way all of that is handled and crafted, with the bullet slow motion coming through the peephole and it blows her into her head and she floats backward to the ground. Fantastic. Like there's not.
Do you think people maybe might not watch it because they think, oh, I'm not interested in opera? Like they think it might be that might put certain people off.
I always say I'm not a big fan of opera music, but I love all the music in this movie. Like I think the score is great. All the music and the performances that they put on in the opera are great. Like this is a more, I don't want to say more stylish, but like in some way, I don't know, it's different from Deep Red. Yeah, we get the point of view shot from the birds look awesome like throughout it, and you have the bird that eats the person's eye near the end, like which is fantastic looking. Everything, like there's not a thing I don't love about this movie, so that's why it's my number one. Operas, I feel like it's definitely underrated still amongst his great.
It is, and I wonder if it is that idea, like you say, that people just like, oh, geez, it's going to be quite boring because it's about you know opera music, and which is really strange because the name of it is opera as well. So like, if it was called something else,
and sucked
like
you
Suspiria
in.
Isn't called. If Suspiria was called ballet, it might not have been as popular.
I mean, that's a good point for sure.